There's a common belief that people that have social anxiety tend to have, which is no one else is experiencing this, right? When you feel anxious, when you feel nervous, shy around people, and you feel like your heart is racing and all of that, we make the mistake to think that no one else is having social anxiety. So today I'm gonna break this belief and I'm gonna show you how to overcome social anxiety. But first thing first, my name is David Duarte and I help shy guys overcome the social anxiety. And if you have social anxiety, I make content and I focus on social anxiety only. So I basically give you the tools and everything that you need in order to overcome your social anxiety. But if you need my personal help in order for you to become free and in order for you to overcome your social anxiety, so that you can go from anxious to confident. So if you need my help, I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Right? So we're gonna talk about a few points here and the truth will set you free. When you watch this video, you're gonna be like, wow. You're gonna you're gonna feel less anxious around people, and you're also gonna see people in a different way, and this will set you free. So we're gonna talk about, are you the only one suffering from social anxiety? Do other people feel it too? Why it affects you more than it affects others? Do you even have hope? Is there any solution for me? Right? So we're gonna talk about these points. So my first point is, are you the only one suffering from social anxiety? Whenever we feel anxious around people, right, we see them laughing, we see them being confident, we see them talking to each other, having a good time with each other. And when you see this, you feel even more anxious and you start to think, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. Right? You start to think that you weren't born like that there's no hope for you, that why do other people are so confident, super happy, and you're not. But you don't want to know the truth. You want to know the facts about social anxiety. There's 15 million American adults that have social anxiety. 7% of the population have social anxiety. Imagine this. 15 million of American adults have social anxiety. So you're not the only one. You're not doomed. You're not, this is not a curse, right? We tend to think, oh, this is a curse. Because what is most personal is most universal, right? This is the quote that I love by Carl Rogers. So we are like, oh my God, like there's something wrong with me and I feel anxious and I'm the only one that feels this. There's millions of people that are experiencing this, right? So you're not the only one and you're not doomed, because when we have social anxiety, we are not good at talking to people, right? We don't want to expose ourselves. We don't want to talk about deeper stuff and all of that. So what happens is, when you see people having a good time and talking to each other, when we see them confident, we're like, oh my God, I wish I was like them. I wish I had no social anxiety just like them. But let me tell you something weird, right? Because when I first started putting myself out there, when I first started talking to more people, I noticed that the grass is not greener on the other side. Because you'd be surprised that how many people, and I don't mean to say this in a mean way, right? But you'd be surprised of how many people are fucked up. How many people are empty, insecure, hate themselves. Because, like I said, for the most part, when you have social anxiety, you don't want to expose yourself, right? And this makes you come up with conclusions to be like, oh, they are better than I am because they don't have this problem. Yes, they don't have social anxiety, they don't have that problem, but they have other problems because the grass is not greener on the other side. Because I have talked to people and I can just notice that some people are empty, man. And some people, either they cheat on their wives or they do dumb shit because they are so empty and they hate themselves so much that if you expose yourself and if you talk to people, it's gonna make you think, wow, I love the way that I am and I love the problems that I have, because other people are way more fucked up than you are, right? So if you have social anxiety, that is your problem. And you will be able to solve that problem, right? So you'll be surprised. Good looking, attractive people, successful people experience social anxiety. And the reason that I know this is because I have helped people that are good looking, that they're basically successful, but they suck at talking to people because there's two beliefs that they have to break down. So that was the first thing that I wanted to talk about. You're not the only one experiencing this. You're not doomed. You were not born like that. You're not the only one experiencing like that. There's a lot of people that are experiencing like that. And even people that are confident are feeling this. Because let me give you an example, right? Let's say you have an interview, right? And you feel anxious talking to them. You are in your head. What are they thinking about me? Am I giving the right answers? But you know what's crazy? Is that when you are anxious and nervous giving the answers, talking to this person, the other person is thinking about the same thing that you're thinking. What is he thinking of me? Am I asking the right questions? Did I say it in the right tone? Right? We're always in our head regardless. If you go on a date, same thing happens. We put the pressure on us. Oh, am I being awkward around them? Am I not being rejected by them? What is she thinking about me? But just stop for a second and think, is this person thinking the same thing that I'm thinking? Is this person nervous and anxious as well, right? Because most likely they are, because we were basically taught from childhood that we need to behave in a certain way to be lovable, to be loved, to receive love, to be accepted to the world. Because love is a need. Just like the need that we have to eat food when we feel hungry in order to survive, we also need love and validation, right? Because if we are not loved, we feel like we're gonna die. Subconsciously, this is a love that we need, right? Subconsciously, and in a psychological level, love is a need. So you need love, you need validation in order to survive, in order to feel good. The problem is that you are seeking this love outside of you, and you're not giving it to yourself, and that's why you're more anxious than other people. And I'm gonna break that down later. But this is the thing, right? We behave in a certain way to be loved. We behave in a certain way to be accepted to others, because if we don't get love, if we're not accepted, if we're left alone, we're gonna die subconsciously, right? So that's how it feels. Because in my experience, when I started approaching people, when I started talking to people, talking to girls, going out to the gym, just fist bumping the guys or asking guys questions in order to talk to more people, I would notice that when I first started doing this, when I would talk to people, give the compliment, make a chat, have a small talk, they would be close. Like, they would be close, they would be dried. And when they would do that, I would feel more anxious. Oh my God, yes, they are close because they are rejecting me, because I'm weird, because I'm not good enough, because they can see that I have an accent. I would overthink. But the reality was that the time that I would talk to them, and maybe they were close, and maybe they would be anxious, I would think that the problem was me. Oh, they can see that I'm nervous talking to them. But the reality is that they were anxious too. And I remember that a guy, when I first started doing the exercises and talk to more people, I remember I asked a guy at the gym, I was like, hey bro, you're huge, bro. Like, what do you do for your biceps? And then he was like, yeah, so I do this, I work out with intensity, this and that. But I noticed that when he was talking to me, he was looking away, right? He wasn't looking at my eyes. And then that made me feel like uncomfortable. I was like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of like rejected. But then I started thinking, no, man, I'm not the problem. Most of the time, when you talk to people and when they're close-minded, when they're like, oh, no, thank you, most of the time the problem is them. Because most of the time they feel anxious too. Because most of the time they don't feel good about themselves. So most of the time the problem is not you. The problem is not the people that you talk to. The problem is not, because you know, you talk to people and you're like, hey man, how are you? How's your day? Good. And then when they do that, people that have social anxiety tend to think that the problem is them. Oh my God, maybe I approach them in a weird way, or I ask them with a bad tone. Or the problem is not you. Sometimes the problem is people. So let go of this pressure, because sometimes people are fucked up too, right? And I don't mean to say it in a bad way, but they are. So stop blaming on you. Stop putting the pressure on you, and stop just me. Why does this affect me more than it affects other people, right? Because I used to hate this when in people that have confidence, or that people that are good at talking to people, that they are just in our heads, they are just normals, right? People are normal, and the people that are normal say, I get anxious around people. Oh yeah, man, I am an introvert. Yeah, man, I suck at talking to people. And you just look at them in your head and it's like, dude, what the fuck you mean? You are normal. You're talking to people in a normal way. You're confident. You have friends. You have girlfriends. But you're saying that I am an introvert. I am an introvert. I have social anxiety. I am not normal. Why are you saying that? You're just normal. You talk to people in a normal way. I don't, because I have a social anxiety. Why are you saying that? Right? Because the reason that you feel like that, right? When people say, oh, I suck at talking to people, I am anxious. And you look at them and like, no, you're not. Why are you saying that, right? You're normal, right? Because you have social anxiety, you tend to think that they are normal. But in reality, they feel social anxiety because they feel the pressure to be lovable and accepted by others. But the reason that it affects you more than that it affects others, the reason that other people say I am an introvert, but they have friends, they have girlfriends, they talk to people in a normal way, the reason that that happens is because, yes, it affects them and they have social anxiety. But the thing is that social anxiety is not binary, right? Because people say, I suck at talking to people. I am anxious around people, right? The thing with social anxiety is not a yes or no, right? I suck at talking to people, period. The question is, at what extent do you suck at talking to people? At what extent do you feel anxious around people? With what type of people do you feel anxious? With in what type of environment do you feel anxious, right? Because, for example, I have an accent, right? I can tend to feel more anxious with people that speak English because I have an accent, right? So maybe, right? If I was in a situation where people would speak Spanish, would I feel less anxious? Yes, right? So the question is not whether you are anxious or not. The question at what extent you are anxious. At what extent do you suck at talking to people? Because, like I showed you, everyone can experience social anxiety, but the reason that they experience it less is because of the two beliefs that they have that I'm going to talk about later. And the reason that it affects you more than others is because of these percentages, right? Because right now there's a percentage. It's not at what extent there's a percentage that you are more anxious than other people. Maybe other people are 2% anxious, 2 out of 10, right? 4 out of 10, and you are 8 out of 10. You're but that's what you gotta ask yourself: at what extent are you anxious? In what environment? With what people? Because right now, you are confident and charismatic, and you are 100% yourself with some people. Some people know the confident version of you. Other people find you confident. Other people find you charismatic, right? So right now, you have charisma and you have confidence with some people. Now you might be like, yeah, I'm confident with my mind, but that doesn't count. Yeah, I'm confident with my friends, but no, it's not about. Oh yeah, I'm confident with these people, but these people are losers. It doesn't matter. The thing is that you are confident, and that's what matters, and that's what is gonna give you hope, because you just gotta move the scale a little bit more so that you can be less anxious. If you're able to move the scale, you will be able to be more confident and less anxious, and that's the point here, and that's what's is gonna give you hope. It's just reducing this scale just a little bit less so you can be less anxious. The more you're able to move this scale, the less anxious you are, and the more confident you're gonna be around people. So the whole thing is that what I want you to keep in mind is people know the confident version of you. Right now, people know the charismatic version of you. It's just like the example of Simba, right? The Lion King. I never watched this movie, but I got this idea from, because this is a lion, but in the movie we can see that the lion is not acting like a lion, right? He's acting more like a small version of a lion, because a lion is powerful. He's the alpha of all the animals. The most powerful one is the lion. But Simba is not acting like a lion. He's eating bugs. He is settling for less, but he is a lion. So I want you to do the same thing, right? In the movie, there's another lion that wants to wake him up, and he's like, Simba, remember who you are, right? It is the same thing that happens with you. Remember who you are. You're not that fucked up. You're not that socially anxious around people. You just have a few thoughts and a few beliefs that are not serving you right now. And if you are able to change these small beliefs, and if you are able to break them down, you will be the lion that is inside of you. You will be free. You will be charismatic with people. You will be confident, able to make friends and get the girl of your dreams. But you just gotta remember who you are. And that's what I'm gonna talk about later. But people have made the confident version of you. And guess what? If you're able to do it one time, and if you're able to do it with some people, you are able to do it with everyone. If you're able to do this one time, if you're able to be confident one time, you can do it 100 times, right? Imagine right now, right? I can clap right now, right? I can clap. Imagine if I'm like, oh, I don't know how to clap. I forgot how to clap. That's dumb, right? It is the same thing with you. you have moments where you have been super confident with people. Some people have the perception of you that you're charismatic, that you're confident, right? And if you were able to do that with them, you can do it again with the strangers and with the people that you want. You just gotta move the scale a little bit to be able to be more confident, right? So that's why I love to think about social anxiety as a binary, because you just gotta move the scale, because it's not a yes or no. Do you have social anxiety? Yes, period. No. At what extent do you have social anxiety? With what type of people do you feel anxious, right? So that's the hope that I want to give you, right? Hopefully at this point you're like, oh my God, I'm not that fucked up, right? I have hope. I just gotta move the scale a little bit in order for me to be more confident. And the next step is there any solution for me, right? Because right now, if we're able to break some beliefs and make them disappear, the beliefs and patterns that you have with people and about yourself, you will be able to be socially confident. You will be able to be 100% yourself and charismatic, right? So the beliefs that you have to break and in the patterns that you have to break is the beliefs about you and about others, right? So let's talk about the beliefs that you have about you. Because the reason that you feel anxious around people is because you have in your head, I am not good enough. There is something wrong with me. So that's why when you go out, you don't want to be seen. You don't want to be heard because there's something wrong with you. Because you're not good enough. Because you don't want people to see the real you. Because if they do, they're going to leave you. And why does this make you anxious? Because just like I said at the beginning, because love, a need, right? Love is a human need. And if you don't get this need, if you're not accepted, if you're left behind, if you're alone, if you get kicked out of the tribe, you're gonna die subconsciously. So that's why when you go out and when you talk to the girls, when you talk to guys, you feel anxious because you're gonna get kicked out. Because you're going to get rejected. Because you're not going to get love. And therefore, you're going to die. Right? That's why you feel anxious around people. Because you don't want people to see the real you. Because you're going to get rejected. And if you get rejected, you don't get love. And if you don't get love, you're going to die. That's why in your head, you feel like you're about to explode and die. Because you are afraid of the person that you are. And you are afraid that people can see that. So this is the hope that I want to give you. Right? Because right now you believe at 80% that you're not good enough. And that's why you feel super anxious around people. And you're just at a confident, let's say at this scale, right? 2% confident with people. But guess what? If you're able to change those beliefs and destroy some beliefs that you have about this belief of I'm not good enough, you will be 4% more confident. Right? You will be 4% confident. You will be less anxious just because you are destroying this belief. I'm not good enough. Right? Imagine if you are able to get this belief to a 2%. You will be 8% confident and 2% anxious around people. As simple as that. Right? It's so simple to be the person that you want to be. And it's simple to break and be free from social anxiety. Because it's not a binary thing. Right? So, another belief that you have to break is the belief that you have about others. Because right now, same thing, you believe that people are bad, that people are dangerous, that people are going to laugh at you, that people are going to think and they are going to see the mistake, people are going to hurt you. Because that's what you experienced in the past. And we judge the future based on our past. Right? We use the lenses of the past, and that's how we see the future and we see the present. So you think that just because you experience social anxiety, so you believe just because you experience childhood trauma, right? Maybe I include myself, right? My dad beat the shit out of me, right? I experienced bullying, so therefore I grew up having a fear towards people and being scared of people because I would always believe that people are bad, evil, dangerous. They are here to get me. They are here to hurt me. Or the guys are gonna look at me. They're gonna laugh at me. Or the guys are gonna look at me. They're gonna push me because that's what I experienced in the past. And just like I said, we use the future with the lenses, with the glasses, with the filter of the past, right? So once again, if you believe that people are bad 80%, you're most likely to be 2% confident and free around people, right? Because you're 8% anxious because of this belief. Now, if you're able to change that, oh my bad, I didn't change this, but if you're able to change it, you're able to just decrease the percentage of this belief, you're gonna feel better around people, because you're gonna be destroying this belief, right? So that's why the solution that I want to give you is this: how can we change these beliefs? How are we gonna be able to change the beliefs that we have about us and about other people, right? So this is the answer, right? Because first I wanted to give you hope. I wanted to show you that you are not the only one that you're fucked up, why it affects you the most. I wanted to give you hope, and here's the solution, right? Because right now you have beliefs, patterns, and thoughts about you, right? Let's talk about this first. The problem is you. When you go out, you don't want to be seen, you don't want to be heard, because there's something wrong with you, because you are not good enough. You just have to move the scale, right? So how do we move the scale, right? Right now, if you are able to answer this question, I can tell that the problem is you. How is your relationship with yourself? Do you really love yourself? Can you really see yourself? And I know it might sound cringe, right? Oh, love yourself, right? But think about this. How's your relationship with yourself? How do you see yourself? What's the perception of yourself? Because right now, you 24/7 are judging yourself, are criticizing yourself. You are your own and your worst enemy. Because when you go out, no one is judging you but you. No one is thinking that you're weird but you. And since you believe, and since you see yourself as someone who's weird, as someone who's a weirdo, since you disgust yourself, you think that all the people will do the same. And that's why you feel anxious around people. So if I ask you what's the perception of you, and do you like to be yourself? If the answer is no, then the problem is you, and that's why you have social anxiety. I don't like myself, so therefore the other people will not like me either. You're judging yourself, and that's why you feel that other people are judging you, because you, deep inside of you, you believe that you're not good enough. And that's why when you go out, when you're about to approach someone, your head, and you start to judge yourself. No, she's out of your league. She's ugly. You're ugly, right? You're not good enough. She's not gonna give you a chance, right? This voice starts to reject you even before you try. If you don't try, you start to condemn yourself. You start to hate on yourself. This is called the inner critic, right? I made a video about that. It's gonna be in the description, right? You start to condemn yourself because you didn't take action. Oh my God, I'm so weak. I'm so pathetic. I didn't take action. I'm this, I'm that, right? You hate on yourself because you didn't take action. You call yourself weak because you didn't take action. And even if you do take action, it wasn't good enough. Oh, why did I say that? That was so stupid. Oh my God, she's probably thinking that I'm a weirdo. Oh my God, you see, oh my God, that was so awkward. Why did I say that? So you are always judging yourself. You're always criticizing yourself. And this is what makes you anxious. Because you criticize yourself before you're gonna try something. When you don't try something, or when you do try something, when you try to talk to the girl, you feel anxious. You're always criticizing yourself. This is called the inner critic, right? So in order to change this, you have to change the way that you see yourself and get to know yourself. Because just like the example that I gave you, Simba, remember who you are, right? So who are you? What values do you have? What traits do you have? What is your purpose in life? If you don't know how to answer these questions, the problem is you. If you don't know how to answer these questions, if you don't even know, if you have no clue, no wonder you feel anxious around people. Because when you go out, you don't have anything to offer them. Because you don't even know yourself. Because you don't even like yourself, right? So there's a concept that I want to give you here. Before you get to know who you are, before you get to know yourself, there's something called differentiation, right? Before you start to know yourself, you gotta learn who you're not. Because there's another concept that is called you're wrapped up under their skin, right? You're wrapped up under their skin because you agree with whatever people say, and because you don't even know who you are, because you think that their beliefs, their desires, their opinions, and everything that they have, you have to follow them too. So what happens is you're wrapped up under their skin, right? Because you don't know who you are, you don't know your trait, you don't know your skin, and that's you don't know your trait, and that's why you tend to compare yourself. Oh, they are better than them. I am inferior. Oh, I wish I was like them. I don't want to be like me. Why does that happen? Because you are wrapped up under their skin. Because everyone has a different journey, and that's why you tend to compare yourself. Because you are united to people, right? That's why you tend to compare yourself. So the first concept that I want to give you is differentiation. And this is what I mean by that. I want you to separate yourself. I want you to separate yourself and see yourself as someone completely different, right? Because right now you have beliefs, you have thoughts, you have desires, you have values, you have opinions that are completely different than the person that you hang out with. That are completely different than maybe your girlfriend, right? So I want you to separate yourself from your friends, from your family, from your girlfriend, because you are not them. You don't have the same beliefs, the same traits, the same journey, the same values, the same desires. You might have different things, and that is okay. Because we tend to think that different is either better or inferior, right? Because we're like, oh my god, if they think this about let's say about this diet, that means that their diet is better than mine. I mean, fair enough. Sometimes yes, but we tend to put ourselves inferior. We see ourselves inferior than others just because we're different, right? And I want to give you this example, right? I want you to look at this, right? Imagine the people that made the comics. They know about psychology. They know how to get people hooked and emotional, right? They have spent millions of dollars to create these movies, right? So I want you to think about this, because if you can see that, for example, on the Avengers, they don't have the same powers, they don't have the same colors, they don't have the same sizes, they don't have the same shapes, they don't have the same stories, they don't have the same journeys. Why? Because it's more appealing. Because all of them have one purpose, which is defend the world. Yet all of them are different from each other. None of them look alike, right? So I want you to see yourself. I want you to separate yourself, because you could be an Iron Man. You could be right now a Captain America, right? Imagine Captain America trying to be like Hulk, or trying to be like Thor, right? It's gonna suck, because Thor has his traits, Thor has his strengths, and Captain America has his own trait, his own strengths, his own values, opinion, beliefs, stories. That's why they are separated, right? So I want you to do the same, because right now you gotta see yourself as a Captain America in a group, and you're not gonna be able to see that because of what I'm gonna talk about later. But right now you're the Captain America of your group. Right now you're the Captain America from school, right? Other people are Hulk, other people are Iron Man, and fair enough. They are powerful, but you have powers too. You have strengths too. You have traits too that you could use in your advantage. Just separate yourself, distinguish yourself, because you are under people's skin. You are under your girlfriend's skin. You are under your friend's skin, because you're trying to be like them. Yet you have different thoughts and different desires. You are not like them, right? That's why before you even get started, before you get to know yourself and know who you are, you have to distinguish yourself and separate and know who you're not, right? Because, for my example, right, I used to be anxious because everyone would go to college, right? Everyone would go to college, everyone would be studying something, and this would make me super anxious, and I wouldn't like to talk to people or talk to girls because I was casing, and I was with different thoughts, different beliefs, desires, values, and opinions than other people, and that is okay, because people are gonna end up being polices, chefs, lawyers, you name it, right? And that's okay. And I'm gonna end up being an entrepreneur because that's what I chose, right? So as you can see, I'm distinguishing myself. I'm super separated, and that is totally fine, because that's what I chose. And I want you to get this into your mind. Maybe it's your diet, maybe it's your values. And you think that, oh, I have different beliefs than other people, and that's why you tend to agree to everything that they say, and that's why you have low self-esteem, because just because you think that something is different, it doesn't mean that your opinions are better or inferior than other people. Just because other people have all the traits that you don't, it doesn't mean that you suck. It doesn't mean that they are better than you. It doesn't mean that you are inferior to them. So stop believing that just because people have good things in life, it means that you should feel inferior to others. Separate yourself. And you're not responsible for people's feelings, right? You have your feelings, you have your beliefs, you have your values, you have your own life. Separate yourself. You have your experiences, your values, things that you love the most. Your purpose is personal. Your life is personal. So stop being under people's skin and just separate yourself, because you are not that person, right? So I want you to think about this, separate yourself, remind yourself of this, and also find out what things you're following or what things you're believing that are not your beliefs, that are not your opinions, that are not your values. For example, maybe your friend likes to go out and get drunk. Maybe you don't like that. Maybe your value is to grow. Maybe your value is to make progress. And if you get drunk, you're not following your values. And guess what? There's people that have the same values that you have. Another thing that I say is, what traits do you have? What experiences, what habits, what hobbies do you have? What are your strengths? Because right now, you are good at something. But now, this is going to be super hard. And this is what I found with people that have social anxiety. Because people that have social anxiety, and I used to be in this light too, we tend to see only our mistakes or flaws or weaknesses. Because just like I showed you, you're always criticizing yourself, you're always judging yourself, because the only thing that you see is this. So this is going to be super hard for me to see this. It's going to be super hard for me to make you see yourself as a king, as a Captain America, because you have been hypnotized, right? Because right now you have traits and you have amazing things in you. You have strengths, you have values, because right now you are good at something. But then guess what? You're hypnotized. Your mind's like, yeah, I'm good at this, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, people say that I'm good at it, but I think that I suck. Yeah, I mean, I guess people say that because they feel bad about me. Once again, you are fucking hypnotized. So look at me, right? Stop being fucking hypnotized. See yourself in a different way. And start to get your wins. Celebrate your small wins too, right? Because in order to find your traits, and like I said, this is going to be super hard because your mind's going to be like, I don't know. Oh, you have traits, you have strength, you're good at something. I don't know. Oh, I don't know what I'm good at. You're good at something. Because think about this, right? You're not able to see that because you're hypnotized. So what do other people say about you? What have they said about you? Oh my God, you're good at something. Oh wow, you're super good at this. Oh my God, wow, I really like the way that you draw. Oh wow, you're good with people. Oh wow, I see that you're a good listener, right? Or if they are like, oh wow, you do that? I could never do that. If they say that, those are your strengths, those are your traits. And that's why some people are able to see that within you. Other people are able to see that in you, but you're not able to see that because you're hypnotized. Oh wow, you're good at this. Not really. I suck. I could be better. Oh my God, I could never do that. For me it was easy because of X, Y, and Z. Stop fucking judging yourself. Stop the inner critic, because that's how you're gonna be able to make progress. Because the more that you are able to see your strengths, your traits, what you're good at, what your values are, the more you're gonna get to know yourself and know that you have something to offer people. Because another thing that I can say to you is, I want you to think about someone that you admire the most, someone who you would like to be like, right? And what is the thing that you admire from them? What traits do you admire from them, right? And I'm gonna give you my own example too, because we admire the people that we resonate the most. The traits you identify are either traits you yourself have but are not acknowledging, or traits that you have not fully developed yet. So if you admire someone and you admire the traits that they have, oh my God, they're disciplined, they're good with people, they're really compassionate, they're really loving, they're really stoic. If you admire something from someone, you are most likely to have that, but you don't see that, or it's not fully developed, because you can resonate to them the most, right? Once again, Simba, remember who you are. And the reason that most of the stuff that people talk about and the YouTubers talk about and that advice doesn't really work is because social anxiety is not an external problem, it's an internal problem. And social anxiety is simple of the belief of why you are not good enough, why there's something wrong with you. That's it. If you're able to do this, if you're able to let go of this belief, you will be able to be charismatic and be 100% with people. Because this is what makes you anxious. That's why you don't want to be seen. That's why you don't want to give your opinion to others, because there's something wrong with you, right? Oh, people can see that, and therefore I'm going to get rejected. If people see the real me, I'm going to get rejected. So what I'm going to do for those 90 days, so what I'm going to do with you, if you join my program, I'm going to destroy this belief, and I'm going to bring you confident, and you will be able to be your true self. And not only that, you're going to be able to be your true self, be confident, charismatic, and be able to share, to talk to people, to love to talk to people. That's what I can do to you if you join my program, because I'm going to destroy this belief, because you're not broken, and I'm going to prove, and I'm going to show you, because you're not broken, you have a lot of potential, but I just got to be able to break this belief for you in order for you to see your potential, in order for you to see the true and the real version of you. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I believe, that if you go through this, you're going to have permanent changes, because I'm not going to tell you, oh, go and talk to 3 people every day, or none of that. I'm going to bring permanent changes, because I'm going to give you because right now you're hypnotized, right now you're blind, and I'm going to break those beliefs, and I'm going to break the things that don't let you see how good you are. And I'm going to be able to break everything that you have in your head that are stopping you from being confident. That's it. You're not broken, and I just got to break some beliefs. It's as simple as that. Let me give you an example, right? Let's do this exercise. I want you to think about something that makes you super proud of yourself, something that you've done, something that you've accomplished, right? I want you to think about that big accomplishment, right? Now imagine if you think like this, right? You feel proud, you feel happy, you feel, oh my God, I did this. You feel super proud of yourself. And now imagine if you approach a girl with this feeling. Do you think that you're gonna be able to get her phone number? Because she's gonna be able to look at you, oh my God, this guy got a good energy. This guy is confident, right? She's gonna give her phone number because she can sense the energy. It is the same thing that I'm gonna do with you. But I'm not gonna make you, oh, every time that you go out, think about and go to the bathroom and visualize. I'm not gonna make you that. What I'm gonna do is, I will be able to make you feel like this 80% of the time, right? Imagine 80% of the time. I'm gonna be able to make you. This program is gonna help you to be confident and be the real you. Because look at this, right? The reason that you feel anxious around people is because you have this belief, I'm not good enough, and that's why you feel anxious, right? So if you just start to, if this belief becomes less powerful, and if you start to see it less, if you start to believe it less, you will be a little bit less anxious. Because if you just believe 6% that you're not good enough, you will be 2% more confident, and 6%, 2% more confident, and therefore you will be 2% less anxious as well, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I can get you to at least 8% or more than that, so that you can be able to be less anxious and more confident. That's how this works. This is not about you gotta talk to 100 people every day. You gotta talk to strangers, because I did them myself and they didn't work. If you wanna have permanent changes, if you wanna have the love of your life, if you wanna be able to talk to girls without being embarrassed, without feeling the rush and adrenaline in your body, this is the process that you have to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through 2 steps. The first one I call prepare the vessel. Before you talk to anyone, before you put yourself out there, before you approach the girls, before you do any challenges, I'm gonna prepare you. Once you are prepared, once you feel good about yourself, you're gonna feel ready to talk to people. You're gonna be able to be like, hey, look at me, guys. I am awesome. I am great. And that's where you're gonna be loving to talk to people, because you wanna share who you are with them, right? And once you feel prepared, that's when you're gonna do the that's when you gotta go to the real world and you gotta talk to people, meet people. And I'm gonna show you and give you the tools to have success, to talk to people, how to talk to people, how to talk to anyone, how to be so charismatic that anyone's like, oh dude, I wanna have a conversation with this guy. So this is what I'm gonna talk about. This is what my program is about. It's not about just putting yourself out there in the challenges. It's about preparing. We're gonna prepare the vessel first. And once you feel ready to talk to people, once you feel good about yourself, once you feel confident, that's when I'm gonna give you the tools so that you can succeed in the real world. So that's basically it, right? And this program is gonna be able to set you free, and you're gonna have an amazing experience, because an amazing experience. And I'm gonna make sure that you're always doing the things that you have to do. I'm gonna make sure that I keep you accountable, that you can text me at any time. I'm gonna send you videos if you have any questions. I'm gonna be posting every single day so that I can make sure that I'm always checking on you, and that you have my hands and my support in order to be able to break through, in order to be able to get over your fear of people, and finally be the guy that you always wanted to be.